Ever boarded a plane and felt that like brief flicker of how do they actually make this giant metal bird fly?
Mm.
Well, buckle up,
Yeah.
because today's deep dive is about the unsung heroes who ensure those flights are safe and efficient. Flight operations officers, or FOOs, and their close partners, flight dispatchers.
And we're not just talking about those calm voices announcing gate changes. We're going deep into the International Civil Aviation Organization, the ICAO training manual for FOOs and flight dispatchers. This is where the real deal, the people who keep those flights soaring, learn their craft.
So no pressure, but they're responsible for making sure hundreds of tons of metal stay safely airborne.
It's a big job.
Give us the lowdown. Who are these FOOs and flight dispatchers?
They're the crucial link between the cockpit and everything happening on the ground. Imagine a constant flow of information, weather patterns, air traffic control directives, even maintenance updates. FOOs and flight dispatchers synthesize it all.
So they're like air traffic control, but instead of guiding planes from the tower, they're working behind the scenes with the pilots.
Precisely. They're making joint decisions with the pilots at every stage, from pre-flight checks to landing. What's fascinating is this shared responsibility model. It's not just about following orders, it's about collaborative decision-making that impacts the safety of everyone on board.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. The manual really emphasizes that this is not just a desk job.
Oh, absolutely not.
Can you give me an example of how their decisions directly impact a flight?
Absolutely. Picture this. A flight is planned over a mountain range.
Yep.
Seems straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But what if one engine fails? Now it gets interesting. The FOO, working with the pilot, needs to determine if the plane can safely clear those mountains on a single engine. They factor in everything.
Hmm.
The aircraft's weight, the current weather conditions, even how the temperature affects engine performance.
That's incredible. It's like they're playing 3D chess with people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about high stakes.
Yeah, high stakes.
Yeah.
And it highlights the depth of their expertise.
Yeah.
They aren't just looking at maps. They're calculating fuel ranges, analyzing weather reports, and understanding how even the smallest details impact a flight's safety.
So they need a deep understanding of meteorology, like beyond just knowing if it's going to rain at our destination.
Think about it. Have you ever been on a flight that was delayed or rerouted due to weather?
Oh.
Behind that seemingly simple announcement is a FOO or flight dispatcher analyzing complex meteorological data, wind shears, microbursts, even volcanic ash advisories.
Mm-hmm.
These are serious weather phenomena that could be catastrophic for an aircraft.
I'm starting to realize that we're just waiting for clearance. Announcement is code for our FOO is saving the day behind the
Yeah.
scenes. But beyond the technical stuff, they also have to wrangle logistics, right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Imagine juggling a 1,000-piece puzzle while riding a roller coaster. That's their world. They're dealing with passenger connections, crew schedules, fuel costs, and ever-changing regulations, all while prioritizing safety above all else.
It's amazing how much complexity there is in something we often take for granted.
Yeah, for sure.
We check the weather app,
Right.
book a flight, and expect to arrive on time. But as we're learning, there's a whole other layer of expertise at play, ensuring everything runs smoothly behind the scenes.
And that's where this ICAO training manual gets even more interesting. We've talked about weather and logistics, but let's dive into the legal side of things. Because every flight from a short hop to a transatlantic journey operates within a web of international agreements and regulations.
Now we're getting into the real brainpower stuff.
Yeah,
It's not just about maps and weather, it's about understanding aviation law.
absolutely. Remember those 5 freedoms of the air we briefly mentioned? These agreements, established by the International Civil Aviation Organization, are like the constitutional law of the skies.
Okay, give me a refresher on how that works. It sounds way more complex than just picking a destination and going.
Imagine you want to fly from one country to another.
Oh.
Sounds simple, but there's a surprising amount of international diplomacy involved. The 5 freedoms dictate things like the right to fly over another country without landing, the right to land for refueling or maintenance, even the right to carry passengers or cargo between countries.
So it's about ensuring countries cooperate and allow each other access to their airspace.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it's not just about preventing diplomatic incidents. It's about shaping the entire landscape of commercial aviation as we know it. These agreements determine which airlines can fly where, which routes are profitable, and ultimately what options you have as a traveler.
Wow. I had no idea. Something so fundamental to air travel was determined by these agreements. It seems like a FOO or flight dispatcher needs to be a diplomat, a lawyer, and a mathematician all rolled into one.
It's a testament to their broad skill set. They need to interpret these agreements, ensure each flight plan complies with the regulations, and navigate any potential conflicts or changes.
Okay, I'm starting to understand why their training is so comprehensive. But let's switch gears for a second and talk about something a little more tangible, that infamous load sheet I've heard whispered about in airport terminals.
Uh-huh.
Is it as important as it sounds?
More than you might think. Remember that 3D chess game we talked about?
Yeah.
Well, the load sheet is like the chessboard. It contains a meticulously detailed breakdown of everything on the aircraft. Passengers, luggage, cargo, even the fuel.
So it's like a giant spreadsheet that makes sure the plane isn't going to tip over.
In essence, yes. But instead of preventing tipping, we're talking about something called the center of gravity. You see, for an aircraft to fly safely and efficiently, the weight distribution needs to be perfectly balanced.
I am imagining a seesaw again, but with a lot more at stake than just a scraped knee if it goes wrong.
Right.
What happens if the center of gravity is off?
It can affect the plane's handling, making it harder to control, especially during takeoff and landing. In extreme cases, it could even lead to a structural failure.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah,
So the FOO, or flight dispatcher, is essentially responsible for ensuring the plane is perfectly balanced before it takes off.
absolutely. They use the load sheet to calculate the weight and distribution, making adjustments as needed to ensure the center of gravity falls within safe limits. They're like the architects of weight and balance, making sure everything is perfectly aligned for a smooth and safe flight.
You know, for someone who flies fairly often, I'm realizing I had no idea how much goes on behind the scenes. It's like a carefully choreographed ballet with the FOO and flight dispatcher as the unseen choreographers.
A very apt comparison. It's a complex dance of expertise, coordination, and decision-making, all in the name of getting you and everyone else safely to your destination.
This ICAO manual is like the ultimate backstage pass,
It is.
revealing the hidden world of aviation.
Yeah.
We've covered technical expertise, international law, meticulous weight calculations.
And a lot.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
And we're not done yet.
not even close.
This next part really highlights the human element of the job.
Absolutely.
It's called dispatch resource management.
Huh.
It goes beyond checklists and regulations.
right.
Dispatch resource management sounds intriguing, but also a tad vague.
Okay.
Unpack that for me. What's the core concept?
Think of it as the art of leadership and communication under pressure. It's about FOOs and flight dispatchers effectively working not just with pilots, but with air traffic control, ground crews, maintenance,
Yeah.
a whole symphony of moving parts.
So not just technical wizards, but also masters of communication.
That's right.
That seems crucial,
Oh, it is.
especially when things don't go according to plan.
Precisely. Imagine a sudden weather system developing or a mechanical issue mid-flight. Clear, concise communication between the FOO, the pilot, and everyone else involved can be the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major incident.
It's like they're the calm at the center of the storm,
Yeah.
making sure everyone stays informed and works together.
Exactly. And their training reflects that. They run through countless simulations, each one testing their ability to make critical decisions under pressure, coordinate with multiple teams, and communicate effectively in high-stress situations.
The manual even mentions something about simulator training for FOOs and flight dispatchers. What's that like?
So imagine being in a room that mirrors an actual flight operations center.
Okay.
They're fed real-time data weather changes, system malfunctions, even simulated emergencies.
So it's like a giant high-stakes video game,
Yeah, you could say that.
but with the goal of preparing them for any possible scenario.
Absolutely. And the beauty of this simulator training is that it allows FOOs and flight dispatchers to experience firsthand how their decisions directly impact the flight. It's one thing to understand procedures on paper, but it's another to see those procedures play out in a dynamic, simulated environment.
Talk about learning by doing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think these FOOs and flight dispatchers deserve their own superhero franchise.
Well,
They're like the silent guardians of the skies.
They are.
Using their expertise to avert disaster before it even happens.
That's a good way to put it.
And that's not even touching on their security training.
Oh, that's right.
They're trained to identify potential threats,
Right.
from suspicious packages to more serious security breaches. And they work closely with law enforcement agencies to ensure the safety of everyone on board.
It's all part of the job.
It's incredible how much responsibility rests on their shoulders.
Yeah, it is.
They really are the unsung heroes of every flight,
They really are.
making sure we get to our destinations safely and smoothly.
Absolutely. Next time you hear that flight attendants, prepare for takeoff announcement. Remember that it's the culmination of countless hours of training, expertise, and behind-the-scenes work from these dedicated professionals.
It definitely gives a whole new appreciation for those seemingly routine announcements
Yeah,
and the people behind them.
for sure.
So next time you're at the airport, remember the FOOs and flight dispatchers, the ones who make sure those flights are safe, efficient, and maybe even a little bit
A
magical.
little bit of magic never hurts.
And that concludes our deep dive into the fascinating world of flight operations.
This was a fun one.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.
We'll see you next time.